Hey there, Joseph. I just read your essay entitled Four Tales of Women, and I think it is very rich and instructive and thought-provoking. Let's go ahead and look at it a bit. Your thesis is not the roadmap I would love it to be. It doesn't lay out where you're going, like, or what you're going to share. So no hints in that thesis. You say to answer this question, I mean, because you've asked two questions. Um, Let's see, but what were those notions in respect to women? What traits did the perfect woman have in the late 1800s in America? To answer this question, and you've got two in a row, so there's that should have been proofread a little bit better. Um, to answer this question, four stories written at the turn of the 20th century will be analyzed and the women in them cross-examined. Um, so, um, anyway, so you don't really show, I think an even stronger thesis would say these things are these things are the ideals. An examination of these four stories reveals that women ought to be blah blah and blah. You know what I mean? If you could kind of group those things, it'd be even stronger. Um, you said that you're going to analyze the stories um, and cross-examine the women. But I mean, you're not really cross-examining them. You're looking at them chiefly through the lens of the main character. So, there's just a little wording discrepancy there. And then I just really love how you lay this out. Written by Mark Twain at this time, and I really love that you give us a time frame for each of these. And then we look at Alisand and the things that are going on. I like your comparison with Peter Pan and Wendy, and you talk too much. Um, Make sure that you maintain present tense as you discuss literature. You say, although Wendy took pause, Hank's actions had a different effect. And remember, we want to have them have a different effect and maintain that present tense. Um, and then I think it's really neat. You show great source support for the kind of woman Sandy is and what Hank admires about her. So I think this is good. It's a very big list, but I like it. Under Lion's Paw, the only concern here is you talk about the two women in this, which is wonderful, but then in your conclusion, you've talked about how many stories. You say that you're gonna, you talk about four stories, but there are five women examined. And let's see, when you make your summations, it's four different authors, the traits required of the women. Four of the five women are lovely, but you've said, oh, I guess you're saying that the farmer's wife, Haskins' wife, is kind of pretty. Okay, so that works. Anyway, so great examination here. Again, another really good examination. I like that you talk about how she has the appearance of a small gray-haired child. I think that was really well done. I just enjoyed this piece a lot. I think you did a wonderful job. You do, I mean, when you talk about historically, Edith Wharton did this, but then when you look at the text, it's you want to maintain that present tense. Um, and then you take us into the we can assume. Make sure you're using third person voice. No, we and I. Um, and then I really love your conclusions. How funny. All but one is genuine. For the most part, they're this way. Um, and then I love that you're going for a so what. I think it's really fun. Um, your mechanics fall apart a little bit. You can reread the conclusion to sort of see what happens there. Um, and then your last question, are societal standards even equivalent to higher standards? I'd love to see you develop that a little bit. I'm not really sure what you're saying. I think you're saying, should we judge ourselves by societal standards? Is that going to help us to be better or whatever? I'm just not really sure where you're going with that final line. Um, anyway, I think it's a wonderful piece. It has a couple issues, um, but I loved it. It's wonderful.